Some more news. He's one of the most divisive Prime Ministers the United Kingdom has ever known, a complex legacy marked by Brexit, scandals and lies. And now Boris Johnson is coming to Australia. I sat down with him this morning.
The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is a liar.
It's a bit like the death of Rasputin. He's been poisoned, stabbed, he's been shot, and still he lives.
He's just a pathological liar.
Pandemonium, Prime Minister.
You're dealing here really with a con man.
The greased piglet wriggled and squealed.
The sinking ships fleeing the rats.
I don't think Boris Johnson will escape free on this one.
Colourful.
Get me a ladder.
Controversial.
Would you apologise for your comment?
Will you have a cup of tea? I have nothing to say about this matter except offer you some tea.
Chaotic.
Hands up anyone who's been to Peppa Big World. Not enough.
Is everything okay, Prime Minister?
Boris Johnson, whose tumultuous prime ministership was dominated by Brexit and the COVID pandemic, toppled by scandals and sleaze.
How many resignations will it take?
And hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
Now the polarising former British PM has penned a political memoir and is making his way down under, hot on the heels of the other British royalty. The King's just visited, you're on your way soon. Do you think it still makes sense that our head of state is a British man from the far side of the world?
Hamish, what do you know? When I was visiting professor of European thought at Monash University, Melbourne, in 1992, I took a bet with the slightly left-wing dons that by the year 2000, Australia would remain part of the same realm as the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
They never paid up, by the way.
My question is, does it still make sense? Like, what on earth does King Charles have to do with Australia? How does he represent us as our head of state?
He loves Australia. He went to Geelong Church of England Grammar School.
Yeah, very long time ago. We're a very different country today, aren't we?
What I think about it, seriously, here's what I seriously think about this. The difficult thing about changing your constitution is that you have to be sure that whatever you do is going to produce a better result. I think about getting rid of the monarchy in our country, in the UK. I think, well, what the hell would we put in its place? Who else could it be? David Beckham. No, well, it's ridiculous. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay, a bit about your book. I was really interested in the way you describe how AUKUS came about. I think you call yourself a matchmaker in it. It's slightly different to the version of things we had understood previously. So just tell us your version of it.
It was really the Australian Navy, as I understand it, right, who came to our guys and said, look, we've got a problem. We've got a problem with these French made submarines. It was Scott Morris who basically wanted to borrow or use UK nuclear technology, which we had on license from America. So he and I had to try to get Joe Biden to agree before you guys went back to Emmanuel Macron and said, désolé, Emmanuel, but les sous-marins, ça ne va pas.
I don't think Scott Morrison did it quite as politely as that. It was a text message, which Emmanuel Macron was pretty pissed off about in the end.
These things never go well, right? How can you do it?
The way it was handled was plainly a stab in the back.
There's no easy way of letting someone down like that.
Do you think he lied to you?
I don't think. I know.
Emmanuel, he threw his toys out of the pram. That's absolutely true.
Reports of a Christmas party in number 10.
This fictional party was a business meeting.
Boris Johnson taking part in a Christmas quiz.
It was not socially distant.
Downing Street has apologised to Buckingham Palace.
Bring your own booze.
That's what the email said.
I believed implicitly this was a work event.
You expressed some regret in the book about your apology over the Partygate scandal.
Mr. Speaker, I want to apologise.
It seemed very heartfelt. Did you not really mean it?
I think the mistake I made was I made this sort of general grovelling apology for everything we'd done wrong. And then that served to kind of legitimate every succeeding accusation that was made against us and everything that happened in Upper Town, a lot of which was complete nonsense. And if anybody thinks that we were partying or setting out to break the rules in bloody lockdown, they're out of their tiny minds. So looking back, that was another goof.
Trump or Kamala? Just give me your thoughts, your snapshot view a few days out from the election.
I would no more choose now, with less than a week to go till the US election, than you would expect me to come to Australia and start canvassing for.
I'm not asking you to choose. This is a prediction. This is a prediction.
I don't necessarily share some of the liberal paranoia about Donald Trump. And I think that when you look at his record in office, and you look at what he did on some of the foreign policy issues that I cared about a great deal, particularly Ukraine and Russia, you can make a very strong case. He was pretty robust, so that we have reasons for optimism, I'll put it no stronger than that, about the possibility of another Trump presidency. Now, if that makes our viewers, spit their cups of Milo across the sitting room, so be it.
Doesn't he want to give a big chunk of Ukraine to Putin? I mean, doesn't that worry you?
It takes two to tango.
Do you believe that Ukraine should turn over some of its own land to Russia in order to end the war?
We'll see what happens. I think that we can work out something that's good for both sides.
Hamish, that does worry me, and I think about it a lot. But I don't believe that a guy who wants to make America great again can kick off Act 1, Scene 1 of his next presidential term by making the Soviet Empire great again and effectively allowing the West to capitulate to Vladimir Putin. I just don't believe he can do that.
Boris, let's have a cup of Milo when you get here.
Do you still drink Milo?
We do, absolutely. Not every day.
Fantastic.
Not very often. Still in the cupboard. If you'd like to be part of an audience with Boris Johnson, all the ticket info's on our website. His memoir is called Unleashed. It's out now. The opening quote is "Hasta la vista, baby."
Is it?
See you next time.
Yeah.
I'll be back, I think, is the interpretation.